Listen carefully, because what you're about to hear is not ordinary. This is not just another message you scroll past, not another voice you ignore, not another warning you brush off like it doesn't matter. This is different. There are moments in life when everything slows down, when time itself seems to whisper instead of shout, when time itself seems to whisper instead of shout. Moments when something deep inside you says, "Stop, pay attention, this matters. Pay attention, or you will regret every breath you take." That's not fear talking. That's truth. You see, most people think regret is something that comes at the end of life, something that visits you when you're old, when the noise fades, when the distractions disappear. But that's not how regret works. Regret begins the moment you ignore what you know is right, the moment you silence that inner voice, the moment you look away instead of stepping forward. And right now you're standing at that exact moment. There's something in your life you've been avoiding, something you've been delaying, something you've been delaying, something you've been pretending doesn't matter as much as it actually does. But deep down, you know. You feel it when everything goes quiet. You feel it when you're alone. You feel it when you're alone. You feel it when your mind won't let you rest. That's not anxiety. That's not random. That's your calling knocking. But here's the dangerous part, the part most people never realize, until it's too late. The more you ignore it, the quieter it gets. Not because it's gone, but because you're losing the ability to hear it. And once that happens, you don't just lose direction. You lose yourself. That's how people end up living lives that don't belong to them. That's how dreams die without ever being spoken. That's how potential turns into regret, not through failure, but through inattention. So I'm telling you now, wake up. This is not the time to scroll past your life. This is not the time to be comfortable. This is not the time to pretend everything is fine when something inside you is screaming that it's not, because every second you ignore the truth, you're building a future you won't recognize. And one day, you will look back and ask yourself, why didn't I act when I knew? Why did I wait? Why did I look away? And there will be no answer that can undo the damage. Listen, being chosen doesn't mean being comfortable. It means being aware. It means seeing what others refuse to see. It means feeling what others try to numb. It means standing in truth, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's painful, even when it demands change. And right now, truth is standing in front of you, but you're hesitating. Why? Because facing it requires courage. Because acting on it requires sacrifice. Because stepping into it means leaving behind the version of you that feels safe. But let me tell you something you need to hear. Safety is the greatest illusion. You think ignoring the problem keeps you safe. You think delaying the decision protects you. You think looking away gives you peace. It doesn't. It just delays the consequence. And consequences don't disappear. They compound. Every day you ignore what matters. Every moment you silence your purpose. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're stacking regret, quietly, slowly, inevitably, until one day it becomes too heavy to carry. That's why this message is urgent, because you still have time, but not forever. Time is not something you own. It's something you borrow, and every breath you take is a reminder that the clock is moving, whether you act or not. So ask yourself, right now, what am I avoiding? What truth have I been running from? What decision have I delayed because I was afraid? Don't lie to yourself, because your future is listening. And it will be shaped by the answer you give, or the silence you choose. You were not created to drift. You were not meant to live distracted. You were not designed to spend your life looking away from the very thing that could transform it. You were meant to face it, to confront it, to rise into it. But that only happens when you pay attention. Not halfway, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, but fully, completely, right now. Because here's the truth most people never hear. The opportunity you're ignoring today might not come back tomorrow. The door you refuse to open might not stay unlocked. The moment you keep postponing might already be slipping away, and once it's gone, it's gone. No amount of wishing, no amount of regret, no amount of regret, no amount of I should have can bring it back. That's why this matters. That's why you can't look away. Because this is bigger than comfort. This is bigger than fear. This is bigger than doubt. This is about your life, your purpose, your destiny, and whether you step into it or spend the rest of your days wondering what could have been. So stand still for a moment. Breathe. And listen, not to the noise around you, but to the truth within you. What is it telling you? Because that voice is not your enemy, it's your guide. It's been trying to lead you this entire time, trying to wake you up, trying to pull you towards something greater. But you keep ignoring it. You keep distracting yourself. You keep choosing everything else, except the one thing that matters. Except the one thing that matters. And now you're being called out, not to shame you, not to break you, but to wake you. Because once you see clearly, you can't pretend anymore. Once you understand what's at stake, you can't go back to sleep. Once you realize how close you are, you can't afford to stay still. So don't look away, look directly at what scares you. Look directly at what challenges you. Look directly at what calls you forward. Because on the other side of that fear is the life you've been waiting for. But you have to choose it. No one else can do it for you. No one else can step in your place. No one else can breathe your breath or live your life. It's on you. Right here. Right now. And the choice is simple, even if it's not easy. Pay attention or regret every breath you take. Those are the only options. There is no neutral ground. There is no later. There is no I'll deal with it someday. Because someday becomes never faster than you think. So decide. Will you keep looking away, or will you finally face what's in front of you? Will you stay distracted, or will you become aware? Will you continue drifting, or will you step into who you were meant to be? This is your moment, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Now, and what you do with it. Now, and what you do with it will echo through every breath you take from this point forward. So don't look away. Not this time, and let me tell you something most people will never admit to you. The reason you feel this pressure right now, the reason your chest feels heavy, the reason your thoughts won't let you rest, is because you already know what you're supposed to do. You're not confused. You're not lost. You're resisting, and resistance has a cost. Every time you ignore that inner pull, you create distance between who you are and who you are meant to become. At first, it doesn't feel like much. Just a small hesitation, a slight delay, a quiet, I'll do it later. But later turns into weeks. Weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. And one day, you wake up and realize you didn't just delay your life. You abandoned it. That's the danger. That's what this moment is trying to prevent. Because right now, you're still close enough to turn things around. You're still aware enough to choose differently. You're still aware enough to choose differently. You're still strong enough to act. But if you keep ignoring it, that strength fades. Not because you lost it, but because you stopped using it. Understand this clearly. Power unused, becomes power lost. Clarity ignored becomes confusion. Opportunity delayed becomes confusion. Opportunity delayed becomes regret, and regret is one of the heaviest things a human being can carry, not because of what happened, but because of what didn't happen. The risks you didn't take, the truth you didn't speak, the path you didn't walk, that's what haunts people, not failure, but inaction. So if you're waiting for the perfect moment, stop. If you're waiting to feel completely ready, stop. If you're waiting for everything to make sense before you move, stop. Because that moment will never come. Growth doesn't begin with certainty. It begins with decision. A decision to move even when you're unsure. A decision to act even when you're afraid. A decision to face life even when you're afraid. A decision to face life instead of avoiding it. And that decision is available to you right now. But here's the part most people don't want to hear. Making that decision will cost you something. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you excuses. It will cost you the version of yourself that has been hiding. And yes, it might even cost you relationships, habits, or environments that no longer align with who you're becoming. But what's the alternative? Staying stuck, living half-aware, waking up every day knowing you're meant for more, but doing nothing about it. That's a much higher price. So choose your cost wisely, because either way you're going to pay. You either pay with discipline or you pay with regret. You either pay with courage or you pay with missed opportunities. You either pay now or you pay later. But make no mistake, the bill is coming. And the longer you delay, the more expensive it becomes. That's why this moment matters so much. Because it's not just about what you do next, it's about the direction of your entire life. One decision can shift everything. One moment of courage can open doors you never imagined. One act of honesty with yourself can change your path forever. But only if you allow it. Only if you stop running. Only if you stop pretending you don't see what's right in front of you. Because let's be real for a second. You've seen the signs. You've felt the nudges. You've had those moments where everything inside you said, "This is it. This is the moment. This is the direction." And what did you do? You hesitated. You doubted. You looked away. But why? Because it felt too big? Because it required too much change? Because you were afraid of failing? Listen carefully. Failure is not your greatest threat. Regret is as failure teaches you. Regret traps you. Failure moves you forward. Regret keeps you stuck in the past. So stop fearing the wrong thing. Stop protecting yourself from growth. Stop choosing temporary comfort over long-term fulfillment. Because every time you do, you shrink your life, and you were not meant to live small. You were not meant to stay quiet when your spirit is calling you to rise. You were not meant to blend in when everything about you is designed to stand out. But none of that matters if you keep looking away. So I am asking you again, what are you avoiding? Is it a decision, a conversation, a risk, a truth about yourself you've been too afraid to accept? Whatever it is, face it. Not tomorrow, not later. Now, because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. Not because the task gets bigger, but because your fear grows stronger. And fear, when left unchecked, becomes control. It starts making your decisions for you. It starts shaping your reality. It starts convincing you that staying stuck is safer than moving forward. But it's a lie. A convincing one, but a lie, nonetheless. Because there is nothing safe about ignoring your purpose. There is nothing safe about living disconnected from who you truly are. There is nothing safe about wasting the one life you've been given. That's not safety. That's slow destruction. And the scariest part, it doesn't feel dramatic. It feels normal. That's how people lose themselves. Not in one big moment, but in 1,000 small ones. Moments where they chose comfort over courage. Moments where they stayed silent instead of speaking up. Moments where they looked away instead of stepping forward. Don't let that be your story. Don't let that be your life become a collection of missed chances. Don't. Let your future be built on hesitation, because you're not here to almost live. You're not here to almost try. You're not here to almost try. You're not here to almost become who you're meant to be. You're here to do it, fully, boldly, without apology. But that requires attention. It requires presence. It requires you to wake up and see your life for what it is and what it could be. So take a breath and really look at where you are. Are you where you want to be? Are you living in alignment with your truth? Are you moving toward your purpose or away from it? Be honest, because honesty is where change begins. Not motivation, not inspiration, truth. And the truth is, you already have what you need. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You don't need permission. You don't need permission. You need courage. Courage to act. Courage to decide. Courage to decide. Courage to stop looking away. Because once you stop avoiding, everything changes. Clarity replaces confusion. Movement replaces stagnation. Purpose replaces emptiness. And suddenly, you're no longer just existing, you're living. That's what's waiting for you, but only if you choose it. Only if you step into it. Only if you stop into it. Only if you stop running and start facing. So this is your final warning and your greatest opportunity. Don't ignore this moment. Don't ignore this moment. Don't scroll past your own awakening. Don't silence the voice that's trying to guide you. Because one day you will wish you had listened. One day you will wish you had acted. One day you will wish you had acted. One day you will wish you had paid attention. But by then it might be too late. So don't wait for that day. Create a different one. A day where you chose courage over fear. A day where you faced the truth instead of avoiding it. A day where you stopped looking away and finally stepped forward. Let today be that day. Let this moment be the turning point. Let this message be the one you didn't ignore. Because your life is watching. Your future is waiting. And every breath you take from this point forward will either move you closer to who you are meant to be or further away. The choice is yours. But choose carefully. Because this time, it really matters.